On this paddling trip, I'm canoeing a frozen river in the aftermath of a winter storm. I'm packing a wetsuit and a big appetite for a delicious camp sirloin on the water. Come along with me, because I promise you, it's gonna be a cold one. First things first, I've gotta dig out my canoe from the rack. And secondly, I've gotta dig out my truck to even make it out of my driveway. Scrapers are good for the powdery snow on top. For the ice, I'm gonna need something with a little more mass. There's a million different uses for just a simple chunk of wood.
The southeastern U.S. has had some of the most intense winter weather that I've personally ever seen. So I'm gonna try to catch the tail end of this winter storm and do some canoeing.
Once I'm able to skate my boat to the put-in, I test the water on a small tributary that feeds the river.
That water is frigid.
So, I'm gonna need some wood to make a fire, but a lot of the wood on the ground is covered in ice and snow.
I think this has got everything I need. Plus I know this is actually already up in the tree, so it's not gonna be damp from the snow.
I've got tinder, kindling, and fuel just with this branch. So now, it's time to get bootied up, suited up, gloved up, PFD'd, and launched. Now, all that's left to do is start paddling. This stretch of river is going to take me through the industrial section of the city, and that comes with its own challenges.
There's construction in this area, so I gotta be careful not to get domed by a tower crane. Those are icicles. I'm in a wetsuit, but two reasons really. One, obviously it's very cold out here. It's just above freezing, but there is a pretty consistent headwind out here that is bringing that temperature down quite a bit. Also, if I were to go in to this frigid water, it could be very, very dangerous. It zaps your body heat so incredibly quickly. So, with a wetsuit on, that is a precaution that I'm gonna take.
Here's how a wetsuit works. Say I were to take a dunk into this frigid water. The suit traps a tiny layer of water against my skin, and my skin quickly heats that layer of water through conduction. It creates a barrier against the frigid water around me. The wetsuit isn't going to stop the initial shock of falling into frigid water, but it is going to stop me from getting hypothermia if I do go into the water.
It's the little things. It's the little things. And a little hard to talk. It's getting a little hard to move my lips.
The cold does have one advantage. I can get right beside this bald-faced hornet's nest with no concern.
You can catch me going anywhere near that thing in the summertime. I love the cold because you can just kind of trudge through the wilderness and not worry about small, stinging, biting insects. I hear some running water and I see a nice little ledge up there. Oh, it looks so cold. It looks so cold. I think that I found our little island. Yeah, plenty good.
This island is especially good because it's made of rock and it's going to drain naturally, good for building a fire. Plus, I mean, look at this view. I'm noticing that tree branch I picked up doesn't give me enough intermediary wood to burn, so I'm just going to shave some with my knife. And then I'll start stacking the little twigs for kindling. I like using coconut oil when I'm canoeing because it's not going to explode and get your boat all oily.
I'm gonna cut this in half so it cooks faster.
And, as a general rule in camp cooking, if you've got a limited supply of wood, cut your food in half or as thin as you can possibly get it. It'll cook much faster that way.
Ripping hot, very nice.
While that steak is cooking, I'm just enjoying the view and checking on it every couple minutes.
Good and crispy.
Tilt that pan to get all the good juices around, and then it's time to eat.
Sirloin is such an underrated cut. It's not your filet, it's not your ribeye, it's not your strip, but it's a denser flavor, it's a stronger flavor, especially cooked over direct fire in a cast iron, especially when it's cold out. Quite nice, pretty nice.
I'm gonna get these flames going again so I can put my cast iron back over it to clean it. And I'm gonna have to improvise.
Forgot my scraper, so I'm just gonna use this rock. you can see the difference between the sun side of the river and the non-sun side of the river. If I have to bail, then I know which side I want to get out on.
As much as the snow and the river isolate me, I'm reminded of how urban this route is. I love canoeing under bridges. I always appreciate them as feats of our ability to travel over what used to be a natural obstacle. But then I'm reminded that progress comes at a cost.
Oh, this is what we love to see. We love to see some tires. It really does my heart good to know that we're taking care of our river systems, giving it exactly what it needs: nourishment, petroleum, and rubber. Oh.
So is the unfortunate reality of canoeing in an urban setting. We built cars and bridges because, well, the way I'm traveling, well, it's kind of difficult. A little tributary catches my eye on river left, and if this is shielded from the sun, it might just be ice.
Oh look, this is all frozen. Check it out. I'm so glad I chose to come back here. Let's push up a little bit more. I've never canoed on frozen body of water. This is a brand new experience. In the southeast, we do not get this sort of thing where navigable streams are gonna freeze over. Now we're back to where we can paddle.
Eventually, with enough paddling, I get to a point where the river seems to take over, and I feel nice and alone. And I love it when that happens. But, just because I'm the only person, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm alone. I'm sharing the river with a red-tailed hawk.
Yeah, wow, so cool. You know, canoeists talk about the hunter's stroke and being really silent, but I'm really bad at it. Yep, there he goes.
Case in point, once he's at a safe height above me, I can paddle just about as loud as I want.
One of the weird things about paddling in cold weather is that you don't sweat as much. Your thirst isn't triggered the same way as it would be in the summertime when it's hot and you're losing a bunch of sweat. And you don't realize how thirsty you are until you take a sip. It's like, ooh, I needed that.
I come across what looks to be an old broken dam. And to the right of it is a completely frozen over section of river. The dam has shielded it from all the moving water, and it looks like this section hasn't gotten any sunlight. There is no way this is good for my boat. And it's also not good for my toes. I can feel minute by minute that the temperature is dropping rapidly. So it's probably in my best interest to hurry the hell up. And when I come up from my saddle onto my seat,
my toes are about to freeze right off. Got them a little wet, trying to test the ice. I need to be sure I'm taking care of my toes. It's at least 8 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit cooler than it was when we started, but I would imagine that I'm blushing. Oh no.
Luckily, the takeout isn't too far from here. But right before my takeout, I come across this pipe that I really just can't get over without getting out. And I come across a water treatment plant.
That is water treatment, if I ever smelled it. It's a very distinct type of smell. It's almost like floral. Also smells kind of like,
Regardless of the smell, that's actually some of the cleanest water that's coming into this river.
I believe this is our takeout. Question is, how are we gonna get the boat up? Let's see. So incredibly steep.
This is just a part of canoeing solo, especially on a river that does not have great access to begin with. But the good news is,
just on the other side of this hump, there's a much easier way. That's why you always check something out on your own before you bring your boat.
the one positive of dunking my feet in before, well, my feet are warmer under the water. From the minute I put this wetsuit on, I've been kind of teasing the idea. So,
I can't wear a wetsuit and not test this thing out. holding the hands for certain. Ooh. Hands are cold, arms are cold. Overall, I'm okay. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Remember to like and subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. Now I'm gonna get back and get more.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Like I said, remember to like and subscribe, and God bless. And I will see you in the next one. It's seeping into a particular part right now. Yeah, that's not great.